We do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, we should be good. Sorry. Okay. Recording's working. That's gonna be you.
Okay, I'll call the voting to order at 5:47. Okay, let's do roll call. Conrad, here. Erica Crystal, here. Stuart Alvin. Luisa Alvarez.
Here.
Ryan Coe. Jenny Lynch. Guests, Tracy Csavina.
There's Ryan here.
Oh, there we go. Ryan's here.
Ryan is here.
Figured it out.
You're good.
And staff, Chris Harden.
Here.
Lucia Magnuson.
Here.
And me.
Perfect.
So approval of the minutes from March.
Should we approve the minutes?
All in favor? Okay, we should have public comments.
Nothing submitted.
Business would be vote for the new chair.
Yeah. So with voting for a new chair, we just need a motion and a second, similar to how you approve everything else. But yeah, can take the floor if you guys have talked already about who would be interested, or if someone is interested in being chair, raise your hand, let everyone know, and then we can get a motion in a second.
And I agree on
Okay, I will nominate Conrad.
that. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. And then now co-chair.
I would like to
Oh, hello.
nominate Erica Crystal for co-chair.
Oh, second. Oh, did you do your second?
No, I made a motion.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor?
And
Okay.
just sorry to interrupt y'all. If you could speak up a little bit more, I'm having trouble hearing y'all in the background.
Will do. We're just silent right after you said that, which is probably the worst thing we could do.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I don't know.
Congratulations.
I feel like only one person said aye, so.
Was it me?
No, I said aye. Oh, okay, okay, thank you. I was just like, I don't know that one, it went.
It went. Oh, it does.
I was like, Lucy didn't, the names sometimes.
I know you're
I'm so sorry.
good.
It's a lot of easier with those two names.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yes, a little bit. I hear the can you hear us? But whatever happened in between there, not really.
That's what it's.
This
So
is where
I think like Lucia, I hear you pretty clear. So maybe you're closest to the mic. So whoever's further in the back, if maybe you project a little bit more, I'll be able to hear you a little clearer. I can kind of make out what you're saying, but not entirely.
Yeah, so just so everyone's aware, basically my computer, I can use this camera up at the top, but my computer's handling the sound. Normally we have in the conference room, we have like that big speaker that's at the top of the conference room. So it's just my computer.
Can you scooch?
I know, this is where I'm like,
I'll go over
I
here.
have too many cords.
Do you want us to come over there?
Yeah, why don't you go over there so you can hear you?
To
Yeah,
present?
yeah, to
Okay.
present, that would be great.
That makes sense.
I mean, I can use a teacher voice, but.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if anyone else is viewing the video, they may have the same issues because it's a little bit more of
I
a projection
know.
in the back.
And I can also do a recording on my phone, just as like, just in case we need it. That might be,
Yeah, and I have caption on, and it's capturing only like maybe 60% of what's being said.
what was that, Luisa?
I have caption on, and it's only capturing about 60% of what's being said.
Okay. Yeah,
Is
everyone
it
moved
any
closer.
better with us down here?
Yeah, that's so much better.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're
We
good.
need to redo that vote, given that she couldn't hear. Luisa, did you hear the voting part?
Let me see what I understood. So I heard we voted in Kyle and we voted in Erica. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
We're good. I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
What was your vote?
I seconded for Erica.
The first, second.
I know.
I think I motioned for Conrad, and I seconded for.
Right.
Mhm.
Right, second.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I motioned for.
You can put me down for yes with both of us.
Perfect.
Problem solved.
Yes, exactly. We're being flexible. Thank you for helping me through this.
Okay, so are we ready to move on? Okay, so then we have presenters, Art in the Park, Tracy.
Yay. Thanks for having me back, finally. It's hard to believe. I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was January. And here we are, April 1st. And I brought along my partner, amazing partner that's going to join me in kind of running these if we get the funding to do this. So I will kind of fly through the ones that I did back in January, unless there's anybody that wants me to repeat the art in the park like idea behind it. Because the first 5 slides are essentially what I presented the last time. I'm happy to re-present that if you would like, or just summarize if there's anybody that wasn't here.
Yeah, this is all my, I haven't, and this is all new to me, but
Okay, well, I'll kind of quickly run through it because I was invited back to give a little bit more specifics on the type of projects and then also like the money that might correlate with it. And so I started this just in conjunction with the neighborhood improvement grant that I got for Baird Park. I did a demonstration garden there. But I thought, I want to get more people to come out. And so I started doing, I just did art in the park just for the last 2 months after we kind of had a fall festival. And I'm like, oh, it'd be fun to have people out and gathering because we had a great time with that. And so, those are kind of the ideas and the whys behind doing the art in the park is just really bringing people out to our parks because, I think we have such beautiful spaces and there's lots of them that are getting improved. And so to draw people in and more community-based too, I think it just fosters that connection with the parks and also your neighbors. And then, why art? Lots of reasons. But we need to slow down in life. So, and then also just being out in nature too. There's just a lot of mental health stuff that goes along with that too. And just kind of, it gives people a chance to notice what's in the parks rather than just walking through it. Yeah, because I think parks definitely have some meaning behind it. It's not just a space, it's a place for us to come together in a community. And then it'll serve all people, families and kids, seniors, new residents. Don't have to be an artist. Just come out and be creative and just people seeking some calm and connection and creativity. And then, like I said last time, why the funding matters is to kind of keep this free or, well, that's what I'm looking for is a free experience for people. So that is not a reason why people can come. It's accessible to the broader community, integrated into the existing park improvements. And, it's a shared cultural experience out in nature. Who doesn't love that? So these are the new things, because you all wanted was just a little bit more ideas. And so Annalyn and I kind of There's so much out there. So these are proposed projects that we thought would be fun. And we decided we would kind of dabble around and go around to the different parks instead of just staying at one. So Baird Park is obviously kind of my little baby. So, because I started that demonstration project and Annalyn noticed that it has a nice, chain link fence as one of the sides. So, so to kind of jazz it up a little bit, doing some fence art. So this would be more of a group project and adding an art installation and kind of jazzing up the chain link fence.
I would love to try to get some of the neighbors that live across the street and live in that area, and maybe just do like a nice little invitation to them. Hey, you'll get to look at this all day and see what they would.
So that's just a picture that I found. I mean, there's lots of different ideas that we can do with fabric that just creates really cool, either abstract or we can even make, things that look like flowers. So a lot of cool ideas that we can do to, make
A lot
it.
of material we're using is going to be sustainable. We're not going to use something that's
Awesome.
One of the questions on that, if you're using fabrics and things like, how's it going to be maintained?
Well, that's just it, right? They're like fireflies. So you rip up a bunch of fabric
Yeah.
and all different
It will.
colors, and we create a really beautiful design. I don't want to fill up the entire chain link.
But it's
Will it
Like,
last
6
forever?
months. Yeah.
But
I
what
mean,
you'll
what
see
happens,
is
like-
you'll see the threads go out. You'll see the birds using them for their nests. You'll see it eventually just decompose. And when it gets to the point where it looks kind of tacky, we'll take it down. But I
That's-
mean,
Yeah,
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because like somebody
'Cause-
maintains it because it doesn't look trashy.
yeah.
Yeah.
6 months.
And
Because
that
it is
just
rubber.
that just
Yeah.
happened the other day. I got a call about because I had lattice up on one side and it had blown over, and then also was just kind of laying in heaps. And
Yeah.
so I
It's the
just went and
unfortunate
cleaned it
thing. I
up.
mean, like plastics and things will have a longer lifespan, but I mean, we don't necessarily want to put the plastics and things in it.
Yeah,
or-
I'm very.
Unless
maybe
it's
I
like
threw it at
repurposed.
Tracy and Tracy was like, it's plastic.
Well, Unless you're repurposing things potentially.
Yeah,
That was a topic of the South Broadway,
Yeah.
repurposing.
yeah, we're all about repurposing. So
Right.
anything that we can do.
The other question I have too is just looking at the 3 parks you've chosen, they're all right off of Dartmouth and they are all on the east side. of
I know.
Englewood.
That's
As
why I
a
put the-
south sider,
yeah.
and also as a person who has friends on the west side, which is a horribly overlooked area of Englewood.
Yeah,
I'd love to know if you consider doing other parks in Englewood. that
Absolutely.
branch Beyond just the east side.
Is there
Yes.
one in particular that you're thinking off the top of your head?
Well, a park that doesn't get a lot of love to me, that has a ton of kids around it, is actually Baker Park. And it's highly missed, and yet there's so many children in that area.
oh, I would love to do
Yeah,
that. That's
and it's-
great.
it's
That's what I
also-
wanted was
and I
like
think
just some
it's-
input on what.
To be honest, it's a more low-income area, so I think,
Mhm.
again, needs to be served more.
Yeah,
But also you have around Clayton Convertolio right there.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
Duncan by Cherry Lynn. You have Cushing's right there near Bishop. So all 3 of those parks are adjacent to lots of families and
Yeah.
their children. So just,
just
you know,
something.
I love Bates and Logan, but I just know that's like our star park.
I know.
And
And I can change that one. The reason I chose Bates Logan is because they do have a new like native plant area.
I love Bates Logan so much.
And oh my God, so many people do. And it's right down the street from me, like, well, a few blocks away. And it's amazing the difference of the amount of people that are there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
Like
take
night
my
and day.
school, yeah, I take my classes there. We go there. It's an amazing park. But
Yeah, so that's the reason I chose that is because of and they have been getting some pushback and some complaints about the native plant area. And so kind of adding some art installation to kind of emphasize that it is a native plant area. Because right now they lack in signage, which I'm hoping to be on to get some more signage because signage helps. But then if you add like bee pollinator houses around that area, that also is kind of a sign that this is a natural
So when
area.
you say pushback, Is it just because they don't know, but
Right.
they don't understand this type of
Yeah,
program?
well, and because the grass was taken out.
Oh, like by the pavilion.
Well, so you know where the bike, that was all seeded, with native grass seed and native plants. So that would be, that was why. I thought
No,
about
it's
that.
great. I just was like, all of them are east, so it'd be nice to
Well,
mix it up.
And I could do that on the last one, because that's why I put a question mark, because I'm like, I just wanted to show that I was trying to do different parks instead of just doing it at one park.
And to Kyle's point, we have a neighborhood strategic plan that can, that as part of the outcome areas and goals is reaching out to some of these underserved neighborhoods. So I would encourage you to.
We would love that.
Yeah,
I mean, this is why I'm so glad we're here. You guys give us what you guys think. I mean, we
What?
want
There's
to
four
serve
districts.
Englewood.
There's
Four
four
districts.
districts. Because we can't afford to be one in 4 districts.
oh,
One per
that's a good
district.
idea.
Let's do it.
Four rectangles.
I like
But
it.
again, the one, and correct me if I'm wrong, city code, but isn't District 1 where part of it's across Santa Fe and then the
Mhm.
other part's the east side?
Yes.
And again, I just would hate to miss that
Right.
sliver of Englewood that's across Santa Fe all the way down to the lake. There's
Yeah.
just two
And that's a
parts there.
primary focus of the neighborhood. Areas west of Santa Fe. So,
Let us know
Yeah.
where those needs are really, where we could really make an impact.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we want to
yeah,
do.
definitely reach out to Madeline.
Yeah, this is how we
Yeah.
started it with
Oh.
Madeline.
Oh, wow, okay, great,
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
perfect.
I don't know the geography as well. I'm very impressed you know exactly where all the parks are.
I know.
I know where the.
Well, I do now, but I didn't before,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm doing a project with the Denver Food Network, but it's in Englewood.
Oh.
I'm building a little free pantry, and it's going to Romans Park. They're applying for it now, so I think it's sometime over the summer we're gonna build it. But part of it is they want to put art on the outside, and so there's open questions about who will volunteer. It's a totally volunteer thing.
Yeah,
So I don't know if that incorporates
That
with your
would be
program or
cool.
not, but it's in the
Yeah.
park,
It's
yeah,
hard.
and I can give you my contact.
yeah. That would be amazing.
Perfect.
I love.
Look at this.
to-
Where is Romans Park?
That one
It's-
is behind King Super, so that's also, isn't that the one behind King Super, right?
Isn't Romans the
With the
one
mushrooms?
that's with the mushrooms?
Mushrooms,
The one
Yeah,
that's,
it's behind the, it's
Oh,
on the
the-
east side again. it's by
fancy
University. It's by the fancy.
Oh, the fancy
I
one.
call it
Yeah, yeah.
fancy.
It's over there.
Mm, yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah,
It's
over
kind
there
of
by
bougie.
University. It's in between University, but it's behind the Marks apartments. So you have
It's
the
on
apartments in front and then. yeah,
Floyd.
Mushroom.
Is that Floyd? Yeah,
Okay, well,
yeah,
we'll
that would
find
be
somebody
cool.
to paint if you want to do it.
I don't know.
Could be fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be totally fun. And then that last one is just creative signs, and Ellen had a cool idea, like maybe having ones point in directions and have like,
All the different parks.
all the
in
different
Englewood.
parks and like
And how
the
many miles
distance
to
to
get
each
where
one or
To each of
whatever.
the parks.
I'm like, oh, that would be fun.
Wayfinding
Yeah,
placemaking.
I'm all about wayfinding.
So those are ideas, and then these are just kind of a breakdown of like the materials that we might need for each of the projects and just an estimated cost, because again, thinking about repurposing, just what we already have, asking people to bring stuff if they want to. But there are gonna be some inevitable costs that we're gonna need. Like for the fence art, getting fabric, if we need to purchase any of that, if we need to have wire, to hold it on there.
Yeah, I was thinking fabric, it has to be cotton.
Yeah, I mean, and that could be
Is that
lower,
sustainable?
it could be higher.
Yes.
Cotton?
Cotton, as opposed to plastic, yes, as opposed to polyester or acrylic or any of that stuff.
So you feel like it's not, I mean, what's the,
We could do hemp, or, there's a lot of different materials that we could use.
Or recycled cotton, sorry.
okay.
You can
Yeah.
get recycled
Okay.
cotton, and actually a lot of people don't. Their fabrics, like, it's just kind of,
Yeah,
it's one that you can
Yeah.
find at fabric stores.
Okay.
like good stuff.
they can get scraps, yeah, I've seen that, which is really cool. And then the paper painting, obviously getting the paint, brushes, paint markers, and then bee pollinator houses. We had talked about just different house frames that we might be able to just utilize things that we already have at home. It could be
Yeah, the
reclaimed
dresser
lumber.
drawer that you don't need anymore, one of those old drawers.
And just, yeah, and just
Take the guts out.
repurpose. But we might need nails, chicken wire to kind of cover the front to hold the stuff in, and then any additional lumber that we might need, sandpaper and stuff like that. And then the creative signs, I said repurpose lumber because like even today, I'm doing some trim work and I just disassembled a fence and I took off all the slats today because I'm using that as trim. So there's lots of ways to get repurposed lumber. And I've gone to places before and they've donated stuff to me too, especially if they know it's for this kind of public art project, community project. So the total cost that we're just budgeting is $500 for the 4 different art in the park. Given 25, I mean, we were just kind of like baselining it at 25 attendees.
Do you have any pricing for like the invitations? Would that be pricing?
I'm just gonna do just paper and do print out, and exactly, and then just make it a bit more.
A little bit less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no middling.
Great.
Yeah.
Just knocking on the door and, hey, little invitation.
And maybe getting, and that's actually a good point because, I don't know in terms of communication, how it works with the funding. If like we could get maybe a sign that's put up at the different parks saying, art in the park on.
And the elementary schools
July.
usually have a posted bulletin board and the.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh, that'd be fun, that's a great idea.
I'm also thinking too, you might need to communicate, but this is like immersive art. Like this is not a take-home art,
Right.
right?
Yes.
All the projects you're talking about, like.
Are
no one
gonna
would
be
take
left
home,
there,
it's not-
yeah.
It's all left, so it might be like immersive art in the park.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And in regards to marketing, if CAC sponsors, then we can use our marketing channels to get the word out.
We have shared space in the Englewood Schools newsletter, so we can.
Oh,
Something.
that would be great. Yep. This was just a statistic that actually Anna found. By transforming our public spaces into vibrant social hubs through art in the park, we can directly combat the 30% loneliness rate in our metro area and measurably boost resident well-being through the proven power of community.
What's the citation for that?
That specifically was offered in Denver mental health or something.
Okay,
Sorry, didn't put that little copy in case.
I'll have a follow-up on that in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then that's pretty much it. Any questions other than that? Is there anything else? Yes.
Is it okay to please go back to the first or second slide?
This one?
Yeah, and this is my follow-up.
Yeah.
To the citation and data. I just want to be very purposeful of all the work that Luisa and Ryan have done as far as bringing things to like a quantitative data perspective. And to be able to just say, this brings people together, this highlights what we do, this fosters creativity. If we don't have solid data that we can actually cite and back that up, I think it's important to just say, this is what we can offer.
Yeah.
Versus just putting out an anecdotal state to the community.
Yeah.
Or a statement. So I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because if we can't back that up with data, I think we just want to state that.
Right.
This is what we're offering. And the fifth slide, please.
Fifth slide?
Yes. No, the next slide.
Oh, got it.
Same thing. Art slows us down, nature inspires us, creativity builds emotional connection. Is that backed up with data? If it is, I think it's important to cite it. If it's not, we could just say, we are offering a chance to slow down. We are offering an opportunity to observe
Just
nature.
the way
I think
it's
that's really
worded.
important that we're not just throwing out anecdotal feelings.
Yeah.
And my second comment on that is that I heard sort of a vague comment like, well, we'll take it down when it gets nasty. Again, in consideration for all the work that Ryan and Luisa have done, I think that maybe there needs to be a rubric behind that. What is nasty? When do we decide that something needs repaired? When do we step in and do that? And who's responsible for that? Who's allocated that work? Is it paid? Is it volunteer? But I think those are really important considerations.
That's very good points. Thank you.
The other piece I'm still a little bit concerned about is that if you do a bunch of marketing with 25 slots, what's the best way that you're going to take registrations, and how are you gonna decide, is it all gonna be first come, first serve, and through what means are you going to register folks? Just because I think if we're offering a free during the summer immersive art experience, I do envision it filling up to 25. I don't think that's a hard number.
No.
But how are you gonna?
And I would hate to limit it too. That's
But
part
the
of it.
projects you're talking about are limiting in themselves. I mean,
And then if there's a family that goes to all four versus one family in the neighborhood that would like to at least attend their neighborhood part and they're not able to because of an RSVP based on first come, first serve.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
What's the best way to handle it? You know,
With the brainstorm.
Because when I did, I will just say, when I did the ones in November and December, it was merely like I just did it. I put a poster up, a sign up at the park, and had a QR code for people to sign up. Nobody signed up. People just came. So that's the reason why I'm not quite sure how to handle the whole sign up part. Because when people see like, ooh, art in the park, I'm just gonna come,
I wonder if it's worth just doing a thumbs up if interested, or, well, I don't know, because sometimes people just cart stuff.
Is the concern basically that like we run out of stuff and people are
I think
disappointed?
so. Or that a certain. group of
which would be a
people
great
take all the
problem.
resources
Yeah.
and not allow it to localized neighbors.
Maybe we can think of something that doesn't have a cost or like a material component to it that can exist. So say it's 2 to 4, if at 2:30 everything's gone, there's something artistic we can still do together for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And then figure out
Yeah.
how much we need, like, I don't know, something musical maybe, or something that doesn't consume resources.
I mean, there's always rock painting.
Like chalk.
Yeah. I mean, and I was a teacher and I always had backups. So I'm pretty good with that, but I like that idea. Because I don't want to limit, I guess, is where I'm at. If you're having a sign that says Art in the Park on July 14th and people are like, ooh, that sounds cool, I want to join. I don't want to be like, nope, sorry, we're already at 25.
I love the optimism that the think tanks is going to generate a bunch of work.
I think if we're marketing through the schools and city, it changes the dynamic that reach of who goes. And I do feel like when I go to Art in the Park in Greenwood Village, there's like 40 kids there. Those get quite full.
Wow.
And they have a cost. I don't
Do you
know.
know about the cost?
Oh yeah, I paid for the cost.
Oh, like the total cost
I think I paid $40 for 3 hours
for
for my kid to go to art in the park, one child, 40 bucks.
Well, and
during
I
the
would,
summer,
but you drop your,
it is a little different, but I also feel like even at the Student Art League, I paid for some of those multi-generational classes too. So I don't know. I just am like, I've seen when it's advertised
that it can get.
It can get big. So yeah, during summer it is.
One thing
Maybe a couple solutions, if I may, hearing everybody kind of talk back and forth. Ryan, I think the contingency plan of some other art project that could be done on the side that could like be like, to your point, a finale. So those rocks, if they're really popular, because people love painting rocks, right? Maybe you could find a dedicated space that will go to. I hear you about not limiting anybody, because that is kind of, you want the momentum and you want to bring the community together. But maybe if somebody doesn't make it in time, maybe they could join a waiting list. That is something else that needs to be managed, but maybe it's an opportunity for them to be reached out first for the next event. And then lastly, I do want to say, where I understand the necessity for a list 100% because of materials and your time and your commitment, I also wonder, because I'm thinking about all the children with parents who may not be heavily involved or may not understand the language or may have some resistance towards signing up for anything right now at this moment and giving away their information. Maybe you have a contingency plan where you have a space for 3 extra people. It's not advertised, and there has to be a way that
Yeah.
it's addressed accordingly, but maybe you have space for 3 extra people just in case they walk up and they're curious, and it could be specifically tailored to seniors and kids, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
or 10. If you can handle
Yeah,
10,
no,
but
I like that.
maybe those are some options you can explore.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When is the first one in, like, what date though, were you thinking? I'm just thinking, like, if we have a meeting after that and it's sort of like gone crazy or something, it's like 20 billion. It's like, okay, maybe we need, I know. But if it became like way too much or something, is there a way then to figure it out for the next month?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you
Because
put out the sign up, or are you wanting to put
that's
out
how I
the sign
always
up?
have done things as a teacher. You see how it goes the
Yeah.
first time and then
Yeah.
you tweak
Exactly.
for the next time. And yes, I mean, we'll just kind of see how it goes with the marketing and see how many people show up. And then if we have to regroup and kind of figure out logistically how to, make it a little bit more tame, I don't know. I think it's gonna be, I'm just gonna go with optimism and say it's gonna be great.
I've run a bazillion events, and so one of the things I'm wondering is like if this was just, I look at this in 2 different ways. If you were doing just one park, I think doing 4 different projects throughout the summer makes sort of sense, because it's like, you don't want to have the same thing week after month, because everybody's done it already.
Or not.
If you're doing it at 4 different areas, you might consider doing the same project all summer long, because then there's also, it gives you a chance to fix it along the way.
Yeah.
Break it off and fix along the way. And it's just, and I think.
Speak in my
then-
teacher language.
It might give you the chance to like really refine it, but also to build on the success of the first one, because then you've got
Right.
pictures from the first one, like, here's all these kids doing pavers, and we're doing pavers the next time. And so
Yeah.
then I think it becomes something
Huh.
that you can take that, then grow from that, where it's just like, okay, this project was really
I didn't
successful.
even think.
And then maybe next year or in 6
Yeah.
months or whatever, it's just like,
Yeah.
we're gonna add a component to it.
Yeah,
Because if you're painting the pavers that stay at the park, it almost could make sense to do the rock painting with that, because then it's just like, to your point, it's like, then kids want to keep something with them.
I
And
know.
it's just like, so it's just like, you've got
That's
little
true.
tiny rocks for them.
Yeah.
You can bring a bucket of rocks and have 50 kids show up
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're fine.
Oh,
Whereas like the fence stuff for the birds, bee pollinator, it's just like you're kind of limited and so like,
Right.
you're done.
He's also, I think, whether without noticing or not, you're kind of piggybacking on what I said as far as offering at different parks. And then that way somebody wouldn't feel like they missed out, like, oh, well, your neighborhood park is next week.
Very much so.
Your neighborhood park is this week.
Yeah,
We'll be doing fence
Yeah.
art in this neighborhood this week, fence art in this neighborhood this week. And
yeah,
so off of Stuart's idea, and then maybe the next month you hit all the parks with the painting, and then the next month all the park, I don't know, or if that's possible. But I really love that you said that. I feel like you figured out what I was saying.
Mhm.
Oh, do you have a day and a time that you're doing these?
No,
What
Not
about, is Tony doing the neighborhood nights again this year? Like, you know how she does those neighborhood?
Madeline
Oh,
is.
Madeline, sorry.
There's 10 of them.
There's
They're posted
9.
online.
First one's June 3rd.
But it's like, maybe we're not, I don't know, if you're open to it, it could be kind of cool to have this maybe at those neighborhood nights where it puts you at different parks where they're already drawing crowds. That might
Yeah.
be too big, but,
Yeah, we can.
but it might
talk
not be
through.
the ambiance. It's not the quiet. I don't think they're listening to quiet. Like,
And they're,
Yeah.
and
So I think, were you thinking more of like an afternoon vibe?
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and I feel like this could be an initiative that grows over
Yeah.
time. It's just like, here's your art and park programming.
yeah,
And if this part goes really good, and we're doing these different, then it's just like next year, just like add another one, add another day,
Yeah.
add another thing, but
but this year being kind of more of a, let's see how it
like really
goes.
intentional.
And you're asking
Yeah.
for so little, I feel like maybe if we voted on one project that we think should travel,
Yeah,
and vote on that and then revisit, like he was saying.
Yeah,
And then maybe would our second project be, second in line?
right,
And then we pilot the second project the next round.
yeah. I love that.
I like it.
Well, and it also gives you a chance to like chat with people on how, it's like, what else do you want to see? What are the things to
Right.
get people coming to these? It's,
You're gonna end up coming back and telling us what the community
This
needs,
is what, yeah.
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is great.
yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, these are great ideas. Thank you.
But
Oh.
you guys like too many options show up, we've already planned hopefully for the next few months.
Right.
And it's-
Oh my God,
The leftover
it's
material
easier-
So
instead of
feels like a
next
So
part.
much
teacher,
easier to do
like-
it that way than half-ordered projects.
Yeah.
well,
Oh
and
my
if you're
God, I
talking
love
about
You guys are so
sustain-
efficient out of it.
if we're talking about sustainability on things too, the neat thing about the pavers sort of thing is it's like, they'll last a year, and if they start to look crummy, well, that's because you can
Over.
paint them.
Right, you can
over
paint 'em
next year. It's
again.
like murals get painted over, and so it's just like, it's almost like this, almost like a mini mural project.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking the pavers and the signs are really
Yeah.
cool, because the signs at each park are kind of like unique way for the community to be immersive in their storytelling.
Right,
But then the pavers are really cool, because I think there's something you could do in every park, and
and I have a stack
They're probably the most accessible for
of
people.
those, like 12 by 12s that are just sitting in the back of my sister's garage that she wants to get rid of.
Thank you, that's good.
And there's probably, I don't know, 150 of them.
Oh.
So
Even if
that's why I
they're like
said
a block
free.
of paper, so it's
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah. And I can find so much stuff on Facebook Marketplace. It's not even funny. So people are giving away stuff all the time. Yeah, I love that idea. And I'm probably more prone to do the paper painting, just because it seems like it could be a really, easy one to start with.
There's no
And
height requirement.
correct, that is true. All these things,
No
yes.
power.
No power tools, yeah.
Do we need to select something, or are you gonna ask them to just select, design? the
Well,
program around it?
yeah,
I think the question now is like, is there a motion to support this proposal? And if there's a motion, is it the motion of one project, is it the motion of what was presented? I think that's what we would like to see.
Since you're the facilitators, I would suggest that you make a motion or suggest to one of us to make a motion about which project I think you'd like to pilot that we travel.
you want me to?
If you,
Yeah,
And if it would cost the same.
well, wouldn't we just take that times 4?
yeah.
Yeah, times
Yeah.
4.
Or how many parks? Because would it travel around?
Before.
Yeah, I like the idea of going to different
So
parks to do
then
it.
we need to decide what parks.
Yes,
So 100 times how many parks? And that would be our pilot.
4 parks, we're doing 4 parks.
So
Yeah.
We're gonna add some south parks.
They
well,
might
Or you're gonna
change the
swap them
parks.
out.
we can swap them out.
You offered.
1 in 4 quadrants.
Yeah, the
Not
four
as more.
districts.
Oh, I
think
see.
that-
So it
think
would
the
still be
mo-
4.
The motion
Okay.
would be
Yeah.
the four districts.
Okay.
I mean, if this thing grows, then we can do more next
Right.
year, but I think
It's gonna grow
what
crazy.
we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's gonna grow.
Yeah, I think so
Did you see how
too.
excited we are?
I
Yeah.
know.
We're gonna end up paving over the parks.
Yeah. This is good.
Like,
No, no, no.
that didn't work.
No, Yeah, I think what we could swallow this year was we just thought doing 4
Okay.
projects.
So
Now
then
that
we
we're
would make a motion for still the 500, but for the 4 quadrants and the project of your choice.
Like to make a motion for us to do the paver.
Yeah, she can't make a.
She's just.
I
Yeah,
I thought you were pointing at me, I'm like, well, sure. I was on the commission, but I was like, sure.
I mean, I guess technically, so it's like I could make a motion of doing the paper paintings for the 4 districts, but dividing the 500 between the 4, so it'd be 125 per.
Yeah.
Or get 500. Because your
Just
materials
500
may
because, yeah,
expand or
we're
grow
just
or-
gonna
yeah.
have our bins of paints and
Yeah, but
brushes
it's a
and
really
stuff.
good paint that like goes on concrete or does well
Yeah,
on this. that
and it's
lasts
not gonna wash
forever. So
away.
it's like the
Sure,
paint
yeah.
that you put on the garage floor, concrete floor.
But I am gonna add one more statistic onto that. Can we collect data of who shows up to these?
Yes,
So we know.
yes.
There's like a cap, right?
Oh, can we just do like a QR code for the company? Like, hey, do you want to take in this QR code and kind of like sign in and saying what you liked about this?
As
or
long
not
as there's
liked?
access to a
Yeah.
website under the QR code.
Or a device that.
Or it's a Google form that they fill out.
That's something.
I mean,
As
I
long
would-
as there's a link associated with the QR
Yeah.
code, so there's not
Can I-
just a square.
Not-
code.
I would have a clipboard
Oh,
and a piece
Did you
of
I
like
paper.
see what you're,
Yeah,
yes.
I would do a clipboard and a piece of
I'm fine
paper.
with that too.
I
I'm
know,
fine
that's
with
what
that.
I was, that's
I
what
would
was
do.
in my
It's
head.
QR codes are great for a lot of things and then, you
Yeah.
know, it's just like, because you're getting it there, they're going to be.
People are gonna be on
And they
phones
could
or-
just, it's just,
And they might be kids, they're not going to say.
I just want
Yeah.
the data though, so that when you come back to us, I'm hoping in 4 months, and you're like, we want to run this program longer, and we want to do more, we say, yeah, it served 25, and we have a wait list, or we have 10 more, and we can even get to these families, so we know we need to sort them more.
Yeah.
And cover,
Yeah.
cover it.
oh, and along with the, because the paper, because I think if you do the little, like, the rock things, you know, the pet rock type things, then you can have, I think that would be important to have. And we could get the 500 to split, it's just like, seems like
Yeah.
you could, theory, manage that.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody want to?
Yeah.
Second Stewart's motion to $500 for pavers and data. All right.
Or parks.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Yay, thank
Okay.
you.
How fun.
Thank you for doing this.
Yay, yeah, I'm excited.
And
Really cool.
also please add, location.
Tracy,
If this is being presented to anyone else but us.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not. But I really appreciate that as, I'm surprised I didn't catch it because,
On the other slides too, what we offer.
and well, because I was a teacher for high school seniors presenting, and I was always getting on them about that. I'm like.
I didn't see any units on there either. What units?
Oh, geez, cubic, cubic inches. No, this is just to you guys, won't be. But if I did, I would do that, but.
It might be fun to have some of that stuff like taped on the table to check in
Yeah.
the data that shows the benefits of art in the park.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm gonna run a camp at Clayton Community Garden this summer as well.
Ooh,
And
fun.
we're gonna have a whole week, and last year we did the 3 pollinators event where we brought in bee experts and then we had them do bee activities. It would be so fun to
That's
have you
so
at one of those.
Yeah, I would love to.
And last year we had 90 kids show up, just so you know.
Oh, wow, okay.
Where's
That was at Clayton Community Garden.
where's that one?
It's right next to Clayton Elementary. And over
trying to
by,
think.
over by Referral Between Union
Okay.
and
Or have Fox.
Yes, yeah,
It's Fox and Delaware.
I'm there.
Drive.
I traveled in my mind
Yeah,
and got there.
but yes, they had their champion kids, we had families show up. It would be great to have, like, what you wanted.
Yeah. All right, yeah, okay, thank you. Yay.
I think I've met you, I was a cafe manager at Cafe 180.
Yes.
And
I
the
do know.
sustainability group.
Yes, I've done a lot of
I
sustainability.
think I know I've seen you. I'm glad
And
it's.
actually, I have somebody from Cafe 180 because I teach at the Waldorf, but I also teach for Slow Foods. And Cafe 180, one of the gals who's a chef there wants to come shadow
Oh,
at
nice.
Slow Foods because I do cooking classes at Cooking. So,
I knew that. So what is the name of the Englewood sustainability group that you guys run?
I'm part of a couple of different groups, but that group no longer exists. Yeah, so they're not around, but a lot of those folks are still in
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Want me to just be in touch with
Yes.
dates and stuff?
Yes, yes.
Good to hear about
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, oh yeah, I gotta keep going.
You're good.
Sorry, I'm still not used to it. Mallory Recreation Center, Mural.
Okay, so the Malley survey went crazy. It went absolutely insane, and I was so excited for a second when I first saw it on, it was like right before the art reception, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. There's so many people that are so excited. And then I was talking to Addie, and she was like, is the submit another response on there? And I was like, oh, you're right. people are just like sitting there, just clicking one person. So it got tainted. It got tainted. Just for a recap, we got 4,765 responses. And I can show you guys.
Three people.
Yeah.
Can you see?
I can't see IP addresses on Microsoft Forms, so we will not be using Microsoft Forms ever in the future for something like this.
Even, I don't know that you know that even if you didn't hit even though the second round, or the second time I got on, that the submit another response option had been removed,
Yeah,
you could still go back to the link and.
I know. It didn't like offer
Just
me
one more step to
any,
the loop, but it was still. gonna
yeah,
this
it
loop.
didn't offer me any like blocks of like IP addresses on here. So Alexandra Jade, so 1 is the lowest. She got 696. Allie, level 3, 1,003. And then Talia, 3,711.
So different.
Yes, at level 3. So
And
But so many.
that was confusing too,
Yeah.
because you could just keep hitting threes.
You could
Or you could do the 3, 2, 1.
yes, exactly. You could even just like go in and just like select Talia over and over. Social media, Addie did a social media poll. For Alexandra, we had 36% voted for Alexandra. And then Ali was 22%, and then Talia was 42%. So she won in social media. Malley, we had a poster up, and we had 1, 2, 3 for each of the artists, and Talia won with a total of 56 votes from Malley. What I want to ask you guys, we wanted to bring it back to Cultural Arts Commission because obviously this survey was tainted. Just seeing if you guys are okay with the Talia moving forward, how you want to proceed, knowing all of this information and the
Because
different
she's
data
a local
sources.
teacher and she's gonna work with the kids doing it. And
She did win all 3.
She did.
I know, I was just gonna say, even with the tainted.
I know.
She still won the other 2.
And if we just went with Malley, who is going to be seeing this,
Yeah.
she still feels
They
important.
should get like 10 to
Yeah.
1.
That should be
Yeah.
rated in my opinion more.
Which we said we were gonna do that.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can say that.
We
Yes.
said that Malley was gonna help us say.
I just wanted to make sure you guys were okay with that, and I apologize, and I won't have Microsoft Forms again.
I think it hits
It's
a
a
lot
great
of the
learning
criteria
opportunity.
too. Sorry.
Yes,
Just the criteria that we've kind of gone back and forth on that we're, not settled on, but it feels very much in alignment with all of the things that we've talked about over the last few months, and it's really clear.
yeah.
I'll make the motion that we accept it. As-
I can say that.
I know.
Could I make the motion that we just accept all these as a site of fun?
Any second?
I second that motion.
Hi.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for bearing with me through that. I
think
was
it's
so
exciting.
excited, and I was
It'll
like,
be so cool to
no.
have, like, for students,
But,
something like that. I think it's just.
They're all
There's-
awesome. It was such a.
And
cool
Lucia, out of
experience
curiosity,
to
how
have
many
them
people
on
responded
stage.
on social media?
Luisa.
Oh, okay.
You had
Sorry, y'all, out of curiosity, Lucia, how many people responded
No,
on
no,
social
no,
media?
sorry. Addie, do you know how many people responded on socials? Do you remember?
Voted on the whole,
Yeah,
yes. Give the screenshots for the by chance.
maybe.
And you guys could look that up later. Maybe we could have it for discussion afterwards, but maybe that, since we can't trust Microsoft Forms, maybe that's, which one of the two is the best avenue? Is it a public ballot where you have to vote in person, or can social media support all the votes that we're hoping to get from the whole community? I don't know.
There's gotta be a better form out there.
I know.
There's gotta be a form.
I was going to use SurveyMonkey, and then it was like making the image so small, and I couldn't make it larger.
Because
Yeah.
SurveyMonkey does, it's gonna be the city, it's if you get more.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I've done surveys where it won't even take it from my phone again.
Mhm.
like it knows. I don't
Yes.
just have to go back to the site and click it again.
Yeah,
It'll just say some.
Yeah, because when we voted for the
Response
names,
already
stuff for the South Broadway stuff,
and that was SurveyMonkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to transition to that, but it just looked really bad. So I was like, oh, I'll use forms because that's how we do it with traffic cabinets.
I mean, they all have the opportunity to sit there and go for themselves over and over again. So it's not like one of them had the opportunity and the other two didn't.
Yeah.
They all they all could have voted a million times.
Or solicited somebody, that's what I was
Or,
thinking, you
yeah.
know, recruit somebody to just.
Yeah.
This
Sit
one
there.
had a lot of students, right?
Yeah,
She could have shared the link with her students.
yeah.
Which is maybe great.
Yeah.
I think that in my experience, I used to do surveys, it was a while ago
Mhm.
for my job. And generally, like, I think unless you do something crazy, like checking IDs, people can scam it. And the people that want to scam it are the ones that are going to figure it out anyway.
Mhm.
So.
But I do feel like this got great community engagement, so I think like the positive, like even if somebody clicked over and over again, somebody took that much time and passion to tell us what they love.
I
You
agree.
know, like, I don't think that's a negative, it's not a negative outcome, and even if for students,
you're all gonna fail unless you.
yeah, even if our students were voting, that's also a positive that they're engaging in community engagement in a way I would love students to engage, so I have to say.
What I
that.
meant by the fact that people do it is more like, I don't think we should pour a ton of energy into trying to be
Perfect.
perfect at it. Yeah, that's all.
It was roughly 125-ish.
Yeah, there's 49 for that one, the last one.
Yeah, that was 50%.
42 votes for number one and 25 votes for number two. So the closest was 49 to 43. So there's pretty much a ballot.
Okay, sounds good.
We also could ask, in the future, if we wanted, we could also have us do a rapid voting, just so you have four.
Mhm.
If we're not gonna have a perfect voting system,
Yeah.
we can still weigh it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it was helpful to have Malley in-person votes, just like having that option. So like if we are doing art projects, maybe considering doing like something that's near the
Upload
area
the
for
art
people to
system,
vote
sure.
in person.
Like the neighbor, like if it's not like
Yeah.
a neighborhood, it's like that neighborhood.
Exactly.
It's right around there, it's like the people who see it every single day.
Yeah. And like hard votes.
At Malley, did they get to see the descriptions or was it just the images?
I think it was just the images.
So that part
Yeah.
is like a
Like,
good data
it's a-
point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Criteria checklist update.
Great.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen really quick.
Yes, I am. To the artist? Yes. I mean, I would just-
Here.
Sorry, I'm trying to get Luisa back. Sorry, Luisa.
Oh, you're
I mean,
fine.
we're just gonna say we had 3 data set options, like this is what the results were, and then talk to Cultural Arts Commission, and this was their vote. Yeah, just
I mean,
plain
I think
simple
everyone has
facts.
people, yeah, I think either we voted and this person was.
Mhm. Yes,
Or they
exactly.
were just chosen.
Yes,
Is that well?
tomorrow.
And then the project starts.
That's what I have to work with on the artist, just making sure it's like it works with their timeline. And then from there, once I have their timelines, that's gonna go into their contract. So we'll have a contract with them per payment from there. Ideally, and I told the artist this, so I was upfront, ideally it's painted in April. Yeah. But I'll have better times and I'll let you guys know, once I reach out to her. Hopefully it's April. Yeah. Okay, are you still there, Luisa?
I'm here, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I don't know what happened with my computer.
No worries. All right, are we ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. And can y'all see the screen nice and big, legible? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So y'all, originally I had asked Lucia for a 2-minute update in regards to Ryan and I have been working back and forth on the document. When I hit a wall, I reached out to him like, hey, can you review this again? And I had like a creative spurt today. And so I have a little bit more to add to this. I'm not going to take up too much time. It's a little bit more about the flow and some clarification on Kyle. You mentioned something that got me thinking over the past couple days on how this would actually work and be implemented. So I hope that this helps a little bit to describe it a little bit more visually versus in the document. I also want to be respectful of processing, right? For me, sometimes when I see it in a slide or a deck, it's just easier to process than a whole page full of information. So I just want to put myself in the habit of presenting it in two ways. So it's the exact same stuff, some shifts, and I just want to talk about two main points I'm going to ask questions on. But first, I kind of want to share with y'all a little bit of the workflow. So we're going to bypass a little bit of why we're doing this because we already know that. I've asked Lucia and the team afterwards, before we present this for a final vote, that we have this as a how-to guide as well. So it'll be digital and easy to access for anyone. But we're going to pass the purpose of the criteria, and we're going to talk again about phase one. So I want to circle back on the conversations where we had this conflict of this desire for fluidity and flexibility, but there's also in surveys we've seen a desire for structure and processes, right? And from this process that we had with O'Malley, I've learned quite a bit, and I think this could be an approach that we could do. And I want to get y'all's feedback on it because Ryan did mention something in one of the documents about how there is great value in making sure we do have a scoring rubric because it not only would allow us to document our work, but it also allows us to go back and kind of see the progress that we have. And at the same time, you know, when we're looking at 40 and 50 submissions, I don't think it's tangible for us, which right now I think we're a committee of 6, I could be wrong, each of us to formally score 40 portfolios. However, I do believe there's some benefit in us doing a scoring system for the final finalist when we're talking about concepts. With that being said, with O'Malley, we had this process where we filtered through, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 artists. Then we had our top 3, and then we submitted it to the community. Now, in some cases, we may not always submit it to the community. In some cases, we are the final vote. So I also shifted this double approach, this double purpose to the second part of the criteria. Last time we didn't, we really couldn't get into the meat of the exceptions, and we will for the next meeting as well. I'm still going to save that for later. But I was looking at the exceptions clause and looking on how exceptions will work and how they could be implemented. And I'm still working through that with Ryan. We're going to talk it out. We have a meeting coming up on the 10th. But I think I found a possible approach and I want to run it by you guys. So as a refresher, the first phase is we're going to use this criteria guide. Guide is important here. We're going to use this criteria to determine our vote when we're filtering through all of these portfolios. In this phase, it looks very much like we did here for O'Malley. So we had all of these artists, we put in our own personal star rating, and how we would use this is make sure we keep this in eyesight and our North Star whenever we personally are at our computers or at home, making these choices for the next meeting to have a discussion on. One of the things I wanted to expand on and have a conversation about is we kind of dove into Englewood's unique spirit. And Jenny, thank you for noting that we are looking at data, right? We want to make sure that not only are we providing our insights and our perspectives as, some of us are artists and some of us appreciate artists and some of us have been Englewood residents for a very long time. And we do want to provide our own unique perspective, but we also want to make sure that we're also implementing the community's needs and desires and what they voice that they want to see as well. So with that being said, for Englewood's unique spirit, taking all of the data and hearing a little bit of what we said in those meetings, I've defined it right here in this yellow box. I'm going to take a second to take a breath. Feel free to read that. So essentially, Englewood's unique spirit would be defined as artwork that translates or communicates safety or feels safe. Artwork that is vibrant. And I want to come back to that conversation about vibrant because I think it's really important that it's been noted in every survey. We've said it ourselves. I think vibrant, even in a monochromatic scheme, can exist. However, not with black and white. And the reason I believe it's important for us to not say yes to everything is to have a pathway and a focus and a priority to allow ourselves to say yes to more things. So there's also that contingency clause, right? Exception clause. I think if we ever run into a piece of artwork that is, let's say, black and white and very monochromatic, that we bring this in as an exception clause during this phase, and I'll show how we could do that later. Again, the words were inclusive, diverse, thriving, quirky and playful kept coming up, authentic and small town. So as we review this artwork, we ourselves will just kind of look at this criteria and see if this artwork to us describe these things. And circling back to that unique, colorful, and playful, you know, when Stuart brought up that this could still be subjective, I agree, right? And I think there's a way, and I'd like to get everybody's opinion on this. And Jenny, I think you said it one time, you know, not all of us are artists, or not all of us, you know, we're not like a museum and this and that. But from my perspective is, as an artist, sometimes I do see artwork and I can see a difference in approach and see it as creative. And I don't know how we could determine that for someone who can't see the difference or wants to see the difference but doesn't know how to. But I think one of those ways that we could define uniqueness is by the approach. Also, when it comes to colorful, we could look at our current landscape. If you look really at Englewood, I've been noticing the colors. We have a lot of brown, we have a lot of beige, we have a lot of gray. And maybe to add a little bit of contrast to that and really put our funding behind it is to add some color. And that might, you know, really tie in with the vibrancy. And then lastly, lighthearted, playful, and quirky. Quirky can mean different things to everyone, but I think that's still where we're in the subjective space, and it's safe to use these descriptors when we're not putting a Rubik's Cube next to it. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna pause there. Does anybody have any questions on this? Because before we start talking about the next phases of the document, I want to take advantage of our time together, Brian and I's time together, to ensure that we're really getting into the final, you know, details of, let's say, the painting. We built the foundation, we basically put the baseline, we're putting the broad strokes, and then hopefully we're getting closer to final details. So I'm gonna pause there. Any clarification or any questions on that?
Yeah, I guess, you know, coming back to that, because I love the idea that it's creative and vibrant. And I still think you could just stop at overall portfolio is unique. Because if you get into colorful and playful, I think there's going to be artists out there who's just like, my work's not playful. And, you know, colorful, I think is just, you know, that's sort of subjective, where it's just like, you know, artists are going to use color in their work. And I think that's something that will come out when we are looking at it all together. But it's like, if I was an artist considering doing it, this is one of the criteria that needs to be playful. I think I would sort of like, well, my work's not playful. And so I feel like that's almost limiting people's chance of thinking about art. I just don't think it's necessary. You just leave it at unique.
Okay, fair enough. I hear what you're saying. Okay.
I think the broader point that you made me think of, Stuart, I hadn't been thinking much about how this presents to the fine artists. And I don't have any more thoughts on that right now, but I'm going to think about that probably like the next week or so.
I have I did a whole robot series years ago, and it drove me up the wall because people were like, oh, they're so cute. And I'm like, oh, and I just had to come to terms. I'm like, they're going to end up in kids' bedrooms. And it's just like, it was up to me to like sort of change my style a little bit to do something a little bit different. But
What I think you also might be saying is that art is still able to be unique without being colorful.
it might be. I mean, it's just like, we just don't know, because it's just like, we see a portfolio that is, you know, tone on tone. It doesn't necessarily be black and white, but they could do something that's, I mean, they're never use color.
But we don't want to, yeah, right, we don't want an artist to lose points on the creative and vibrant category because it's not colorful.
Haven't been in that document a lot. I'll just point out, and Luisa, tell me if this is wrong, but it's tough to get this just right. And part of Luisa's plan is this opportunity to say there's an exception for this person because obviously they don't have this one thing. So I would just say, when did we start, Luisa? I think we've been working on it for a while, and it's possible to go forever. And I'm just saying
Yeah.
from my experience to everybody else. Yeah.
Well, that's right. I think if the less that you have in there, the more opportunities you give to people.
The artists are
Thank you,
also
Ed.
not seeing this, I don't think. This is for us to use as a tool.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
whenever we do a call, we can use, I think, whatever we've got in our meetings to put out to the public. So this is more just like we're gonna use it for us.
Yeah, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
It's just that if there's somebody not around to split like 10 years. from now.
And to your point, this is a great onboarding tool too as well. Like we're gonna have new committee members, and I think one of the things I failed to articulate last time is we want this to be an extension of the mural guidelines, because we could always repurpose it or change it accordingly to how things fluctuate, right? And to your point, Erica, I think this document right here, the deck, would definitely 100% be a how-to for internal. The formal document will have to be forward facing as well. It will be used for internal, but also provide the artists like a pathway of how we operate, so they understand how decisions are being made. Now, with that being said, one of the things here is that for this section of the voting and of the process, this is for us to use to do our own personal votes, to filter through 30 artists down to our top 5 or 3. And so I don't believe we need to submit those. However, to attach it to something tangible for the artist, I do believe phase 2 would be the part that we do score and we do submit that with some kind of formal archiving to ensure that we could always go back to it.
Well, Luisa,
And-
I know you.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I think this is like when we even first started this discussion, is that all, the rest for scoring to me are so easy to score. I think the creative and vibrant needs to be in there, but I think ultimately that is going to be the subjective part. And so I do think it benefits us to have less is more. I think ending it at unique is all we need in there to capture what the community, to capture that vibrant creative vibe that Englewood has asked for over and over again. I think it serves us to just have the creative vibrant. Sorry.
I mean, but do you need the creative? I mean, because it's kind of like, as an artist, it's just like,
It's creative,
yeah, I mean,
I
it's sort of,
I think we need to have a part on there that's about the art. So I think like you're scoring.
but that's what you got in the first one. What we're proposing is reflecting Englewood's unique spirit and language project. I mean, it's just like, I mean, if you're an artist, you already, because it's like creative and vibrant is completely subjective.
Well, it may be that that's describing, because a lot of the work that Luisa did here was to explain what Englewood's unique spirit is, and it's pulled from this data. So maybe it's not in the right box there, but communicating that, because I know from a lot of the public meetings I've seen and been a part of, everybody's like, well, what is Englewood? What is our spirit?
No, well, and I think creative and vibrant is, it's almost like, obviously you want to find work that's creative and vibrant. To me, it's just like, that's kind of like, you want your surgeon to know how to, do sutures, it's sort of like, it's kind of like a no duh thing. It's just like, well,
If you're looking at it as criteria for grading an art, yes. If you're looking at it as a way to communicate about much of survey stuff from the community, then it's not, then it's different. That's a different
yeah,
thing.
but so maybe it can just be lumped in with that first sentence then.
I also think in the name of integrity, we need to be as transparent as possible, because I don't think it's fair that if we're not sharing this with the artist, that it ever comes back that like, well, I didn't know they were voting on playful. I would have
Yeah.
submitted something more playful if I would have known that was in their secret voting.
I think I heard Luisa say that
Not
we would share
secret,
this
but I'm just
publicly.
saying,
Is
I
that
think in the
right?
name of
Please don't.
transparency.
There
Yeah.
would be 2, so this is just the part that we would check off, basically, is what I felt like you were saying.
Yeah, this
I
would
mean,
be
I
for the
think that's
filtration
fair.
process of large
think so.
submissions in phase 1. So this would be for the filtration process of large submissions of phase 1. This will be included in the public facing document, and this is what we will be using to guide ourselves through there. Where I believe the documentation is important is phase 2, where we finally have concepts and we're choosing final artists and we're placing a vote there, either before we submit to the community or we have final vote. Does that make sense? Did I articulate that well?
So like, yeah, so basically it's like we have a portfolio sitting in front of us. We've gone through the, fits the community part. We get to the second one, is it creative and vibrant, So it's like if we are sort of like, like you gave us the 30 different ones and we were just going through with our own computers, for me, it's just.
And the second, so just
I
to
think
make
you
sure
could just
we
leave it
have
at unique though.
a
Still.
full circle view of everything. So the first part of the art criteria guide will be for us filtering through them. And in that process as well, we will be looking for exceptions. So this Stuart would be the process where, I saw this black and white portfolio, it's all black and white, but I think we should have an exception here. I don't believe we really need to exclude this artist because they're not colorful and vibrant. And here is why I believe it would be beneficial for this project. And here are the reasons I believe it aligns with the mission and values that we've all agreed upon and the narrative justification. So before going to phase 2, if anyone finds an artist or portfolio that doesn't meet the guide that we have, then we ourselves will take the responsibility to be prepared to bring it to the table, to have a discussion as we are now, and see if we should make an exception for this person or this artist, right? Because it's not the person, we're making an exception for the art. So we make an exception for that art, and to ensure that we are transparent, fair, honorable, and equitable, we there decide whether or not we move forward, and we have a formal recording and a written documentation of that. And we bring that person in to phase 2. I'm going to pause there for a second. Does that solve for the lack of maybe support in monochromatic art?
Well, and I use monochromatic just as an example, but it's just like, I feel like you've
No, yeah, I'm
added an
using,
extra
yeah.
step. Yeah, it's just, I feel like you've added an extra step instead of like, if you just don't, like, why do we need exceptions? Like, why can't it just be like, we are basing each portfolio on its own merit?
Because every piece of art is going to be different.
Right.
There were special things about Malley.
But I'm saying that's like, but why do we need to create? So it's like, it has to be an exception. Why can't it just be like?
You're
it's
talking
just
about
part of-
for this particular thing.
Yeah.
Why does this thing have to be
Yeah.
only handled by exceptions?
Well,
'Cause it
I
just,
have
like,
somewhat of some insight behind that, Stuart. Actually, when I was going through this process, I'm still learning as well, and my focus was solely 100% on CAC in our voting process. And it was brought to light that not only do we have these choices to make, but we also work with other departments and other projects that may not have this criteria. So we're supporting the funding on our end, they're supporting funding on their end. They don't necessarily need to follow this criteria as well. So sometimes we may have to make exceptions, and some exceptions may come from an example that I used last time, but I'll give 2 examples that I've been using as the reasoning behind exceptions. Is, let's say we have an art installation that is sound activated, and we're very passionate about local artists and supporting them, but what if we don't have any local artists that meet the project needs? So there we would have an exception. We would be prepared to say this portfolio meets this exception because they work well for this project, and unfortunately we just don't have anyone local, or this person that is
But I
not
would
local.
agree with that because that's a literal thing though. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Okay,
and then
in 30 minutes. All the computers would shut down, the restaurant will close, and all room reservations will conclude in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, gosh. So we have 15 minutes.
Well, just real quick, I
Okay,
mean,
so-
the example though, it's like, one is literal, that's a literal example, like I completely agree with that, but subjective, but it's like we're talking about colorful and playful.
So the disconnect, I think, Stuart, here just keeps coming back to the fact that Luisa is reflecting the community's input on unique Englewood. That's why it's there.
Yeah. I
And
understand.
then I don't know what the
Yeah, that
disconnect
came
is.
out of, so many places, like when we did the strategic part and when we also did the South Broadway. What kept coming up was that,
I'm not saying it shouldn't be taken into account. It's just that, it's like if you make it part of the actual criteria, that it's necessary. I think that's where it seems.
Well, this work, I think the original thing that Luisa tried to start for us before I was involved at all is to make sure we don't do what you're kind of getting close to there, which is say, we're taking things into account, but it's not officially here. That's kind of, I think, the conceit of this project is to make sure that the things we take into account are listed here. So
And
we can,
Yeah,
if we
that-
take things into account, that should be here.
And I believe
Yeah.
the value behind this as well is also these artists, they put a lot of, like, I know when I do my art, I put a lot of heart in it, and actually having someone see the work that you've been put behind it is validating. And on top of that, I also want to ensure, because trust me, I do not like more work. I don't think any of us do, but I think there's great value in ensuring that people may not come to assumptions, don't believe that there are biases. There's a structure that we've all agreed upon or will agree upon or will find a structure that we will agree upon. And we're presenting it to the community so they know that these are the things we're looking for. This has nothing to do with you as a person or your essence. It just has to do with what we're looking for to represent artwork in the city. So I'll pause there with the fact that, because you guys are about to close over there, is that
Or we're sleeping.
yeah, Ryan and I are going to continue working on this, and we're going to continue chipping away. And to Ryan's point, the more that we find things, the more this expands, and the longer this is going to keep going on. Now, I will say that this all stemmed from Lucia's lovely work with the mural guidelines, and this was the extension that we wanted to add to ensure that we were being clear and transparent with the community. And so I once again will have a link up to both of these things. I'll send it, Lucia, this time, or where's my camera? I'll send it this time via email, so everyone can add their comments or any feedback. So that way, when Ryan and I meet on the 10th, we can really work together and plow through as much as we can. And that way we come to continue building on this process, if that sounds good for everyone.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Englewood
Thank
Southwest
y'all.
Side.
Yes, so update on that. We were supposed to have a meeting on the 24th, but we didn't meet quorum. So I'm gonna have to set up another meeting.
Sorry, that was my.
No, you're fine.
I was doing that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send out another doodle poll sometime in April for us to meet and talk about the traffic cabinets and funding. Take a look at the document. It's long, so like please take a look at it. What I'm gonna be going through in the meeting is the individual tables. And then we'll have a discussion from there. It's just gonna be an open discussion. But I'll send that out this week, and then we'll get that on the books for the art strategy, and hopefully we'll have semi-final draft May.
So are you hoping to meet in the next 2 weeks? Maybe?
Yeah, or like maybe the same time frame where it's like the week before, the Tuesday before. So that's gonna be sent out. So I don't have a large update for the art strategy, but just take a look. I'll resend the link. I'll make sure everyone has it too. Maybe we'll just have a giant links email sent out so you can see Luisa's stuff too.
Upcoming events?
Yes, so we have the Earth Day celebration on April 25th from 9 to noon. The sustainability coordinator, Mel England, she reached out to me to see if CAC wanted to host a craft. The craft that she suggested was basically handprints that kids can trace out their hand and then write down like what they love about the earth or just Earth Month or anything new they've learned, just like have some love notes on there, and then we'll make a tree from it. So like just a simple little craft, something that is going to be easy to do.
What time's that?
9 to noon. And then I'll send out a sign up genius to you guys,
The sign up.
and I'll do like 1 hour increments, and whoever can join, just sign up on Sign Up Genius. But yeah, it should be fun. Hopefully you can join.
I also wanted to share an event that's happening at Englewood that I think the city is a part of as well. Englewood not Englewood, Clayton Elementary in 1976 buried a time capsule that was part of the bicentennial event. In 2001, they dug it up and they reburied it again with more stuff from 2001, 25 years later. Well, 25 years later, they're digging it up again on April 23rd at Clayton Elementary. And so the whole community is invited. They really want to find alumni from the community. We're part of Clayton, so if you happen to know residents or folks who once were part of Clayton Elementary, especially in 76 or 2001, they're highly encouraged to come to the event. They're going to have people there filming the event or to create like a little documentary. So the more the merrier, come. There'll be food trucks, there'll be things. They'd love to see you and your people. And it's April 23rd, 4 to 6 p.m.
Do they leave all the items in there?
Do
they take out the?
I don't know. And that, I think they're all in there. I'm assuming they left the previous items and are adding to it. And then I'm like, we need to add to it. And then the other thing they want is, and this is where it would be cool to have an artist, is to put a plaque there so they know where the time capsule is, so that when we all forget, somebody still knows where. Right, because it has a location, and even like when they redid the schools, it survived, and I'm like, it's so, like, it's fun. So yeah, cool historical event.
I love that. I'll let Madeline with Neighborhood Resources know, and I'll also talk to Historic Englewood.
Both have been talked to.
Oh, perf.
So I think.
Perf. What am I saying?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I think, well, maybe I think they all know, but I'm pretty sure Historical Society.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm
Lori's
gonna be
been
there. I
talking.
love time
Okay.
capsules. I think
That's
it's
cool.
like the coolest thing.
They're so cool.
Perfect.
Second Saturday stuff on the 11th.
Oh, yes.
Lots of stuff. Oh, just the whole
Is that
list
your
of things.
printing of that?
We have that.
Yeah.
We're at, we just went over, we're almost at $39,000 we raised. From the
We're meeting adjourned.
Perfect. At 7:07.
Thank you.
Dude, can you help me understand what I'm missing?